Imagine walking through life as if you are a mountain, unshaken by the fiercest storms. Picture yourself remaining calm and composed no matter the chaos swirling around you. Sounds like a superpower, doesn't it? But this is not the stuff of myths or the domain of the elite. Mastering your emotions is a skill within everyone's reach. In today's video, we will uncover the profound wisdom of Buddhism that teaches us how to harness our emotional power and transform it into a force for good. By the end of this journey, you'll learn how to detach from negativity, cultivate inner peace, and respond to life's challenges with grace and resilience. This isn't just another guide to staying calm. It's a transformative journey that will empower you to take charge of your emotional world. So, let's dive into these life-changing teachings that will not only inspire you, but leave you equipped to handle anything life throws your way. Let's take a moment to think about something. How often do we let our emotions take the wheel? Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, and suddenly your whole day feels ruined. Or a coworker makes an offhand comment, and you replay it in your mind for hours. Sound familiar? This happens to all of us because we're so deeply attached to the events and words around us. But here's the thing. What if you didn't have to react this way? What if you could just let it go? That's where the concept of emotional detachment comes in. Now, don't misunderstand me. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or shutting yourself off from the world. It's not about pretending you don't feel anything. Instead, it's like stepping back and watching your emotions unfold without getting swept away by them. Think of it like being an audience member at a play. You're observing the drama, but you're not part of it. Here's an analogy I love. Imagine your emotions as clouds drifting across the sky. Some clouds are light and fluffy, while others are dark and stormy. But no matter how intense the clouds get, the sky itself remains vast, open, and untouched. The sky is you, your true self. The clouds, they're just passing emotions. The problem is, we often forget we're the sky. We see the storm clouds of anger or frustration, and we think, this is me. I am this anger. But in reality, the clouds will pass if we just let them. Let me share a simple exercise you can try the next time you feel anger bubbling up. Let's say someone says something rude to you. Instead of snapping back or letting it fester, pause. Close your eyes if you can and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is it anger, hurt, maybe even fear? Naming the emotion is like shining a flashlight in a dark room. It helps you see clearly. Once you've identified the feeling, try saying this to yourself. This anger is not me. It's just a passing cloud. Visualize the anger floating away, dissolving into the vastness of the sky. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel when you stop clinging to the emotion. Now, let's get practical. Emotional detachment is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Don't expect to master it overnight. Start small. Maybe the next time you're stuck in traffic and feel frustration rising, take a breath and remind yourself, this moment doesn't define my whole day. Or when someone's words sting, remember, their words are about them, not me. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Situations that once made you see red will barely register. You'll feel like the calm eye of the storm, untouched by the chaos around you. And let me tell you, there's nothing more empowering than realizing that you, yes, you, can control your emotional reactions. But here's a little secret. This practice doesn't just benefit you. When you stop reacting impulsively, the people around you will notice. Your calm presence can diffuse tense situations and Inspire others to approach life with the same grace. Emotional detachment isn't just about self-preservation. It's a gift you give to everyone you interact with. So, the next time life throws you a curveball, and trust me, it will, remember this: you are the sky. Your emotions are just clouds. Let them come, let them go, and watch as your world transforms. This is the power of emotional detachment, and it's yours to claim. Let's be honest. Our minds can be our best friends or our worst enemies. Think about it. How many times have you replayed an argument in your head, imagining all the clever things you could have said? Or let a single critical comment ruin your entire mood? It's exhausting, isn't it? Our minds, left unchecked, love to spiral into negativity. But what if I told you there's a way to stop that spiral and even turn it into something positive? That's where the what-if mindset shift comes in. Now, here's the thing. Most of us live on autopilot when it comes to our reactions. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and immediately your brain goes, "Why would they do that? Are they blind? What's wrong with people these days?" And before you know it, you're in a full-blown mental rant. But let's hit the brakes for a second. What if you could flip the script? Instead of jumping straight to judgment, what if you asked, what if they're rushing to the hospital? What if they're having a really bad day? You see, this simple question, what if, is like a reset button for your mind. It forces you to pause and look at the situation from a different angle. And here's the best part. This shift doesn't just stop the negativity. It opens the door to empathy, curiosity, and personal growth. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague criticizes your idea in front of the entire team. Your first instinct might be to think, how dare they embarrass me like that? But what if, instead, you asked yourself, what if this is a chance for me to grow? What if their feedback, even if it stings, could make my idea even better? Suddenly, the situation doesn't feel as personal or as hurtful. Instead, it becomes an opportunity to learn. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds great in theory, but what about when someone's just plain mean? Fair question. Here's the thing. The what-if mindset isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains of negativity. When someone lashes out, instead of thinking, why are they attacking me? Try asking, what if this person is going through something I don't know about? Maybe they're stressed, or maybe they've had a rough morning. By shifting your focus, you not only protect your own peace, but also create space for compassion. And let's not forget, this mindset isn't just about dealing with other people. It's also about how you talk to yourself. Think about those moments when you mess up. Maybe you miss a deadline or forget something important. Your inner critic starts shouting, "Why am I so careless? What's wrong with me?" But instead of beating yourself up, try this. What if this mistake is a stepping stone? What if it's teaching me something valuable? This isn't just wishful thinking. It's rewiring your brain. Neuroscience tells us that the more we practice certain thought patterns, the stronger those neural pathways become. So, every time you choose a what-if thought over a negative one, you're literally reshaping your brain. How cool is that? Now, let me share a personal story to bring this home. I used to get really frustrated when people didn't meet my expectations, whether it was at work, with friends, or even strangers. One day, I was running late for an important meeting, and the barista at my coffee shop was moving painfully slow. I could feel the anger rising. But then I stopped and thought, what if this is happening for a reason? What if this delay is protecting me from something worse down the road? That little shift in perspective didn't just calm me down, it changed the entire tone of my day. And guess what? The meeting ended up starting late anyway, so all that stress would have been for nothing. So here's your challenge. The next time you feel yourself spiraling into negativity, pause and ask, what if? Start small. Maybe you're stuck in traffic. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Try, what if this is a chance to practice patience? Or when someone irritates you, instead of reacting, ask, what if this is an opportunity to strengthen my emotional muscles? Over time, you'll notice a shift. Your mind will start to default to curiosity and positivity instead of frustration and judgment. It's like upgrading your mental software to a more peaceful, compassionate version. And let me tell you, that's a game changer. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. So, the next time life throws a curveball, remember this. Your thoughts are powerful, and you have the power to choose them. Ask yourself, what if this moment is exactly what I need to grow? And watch as your entire perspective transforms. Let's pause for a moment and think about this. How often do you let someone else's actions dictate your emotions? Maybe it's that coworker who always seems to find a way to undermine you. Or perhaps it's the family member who knows just the right buttons to push. It's so easy to feel like our emotions are at the mercy of other people, isn't it? But here's the truth that Buddhism teaches us. No one, and I mean no one, can make you feel anything unless you give them that power. Let me say it again, because it's worth repeating. You are the ruler of your emotional realm. This idea is called self-sovereignty, and it's a profound shift in how you see the world. Once you truly grasp it, you'll feel like you've been handed the keys to your own emotional freedom. Here's an example we can all relate to. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your immediate reaction might be to slam your hands on the steering wheel, yell, or stew in frustration for the next half hour. But here's the thing. Is that person really controlling your mood? Or are you allowing their actions to dictate how you feel? Self-sovereignty means recognizing that the anger you feel isn't coming from the situation itself. It's coming from within you. And if it's coming from within, you have the power to change it. Let me tell you about a moment that truly made this concept click for me. A friend once told me, "You're like a TV remote, and you keep handing the controls to other people." That hit me like a ton of bricks. Think about it. Every time we let someone else's words or actions ruin our mood, it's like we're saying, "Here, take the remote. You decide how I feel today." But what if you stopped doing that? What if you held on to that remote and said, "Nope, I'm in charge here." Now, I'm not saying this is easy. It's one thing to hear this concept and nod along, but it's another thing entirely to put it into practice. It takes time, patience, and a lot of self-awareness. But the results? Oh, they're worth it. Here's a simple exercise to get started. The next time someone says or does something that triggers you, pause for just a moment. Instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath and ask yourself, do I really want to give this person control over my emotions? Just asking that question can create a gap between the event and your reaction. A gap where you can choose how to respond. Let's dive a little deeper into the Buddhist perspective on this. According to Buddhist teachings, our emotions are like waves on the ocean. Some are gentle ripples, while others are massive, crashing waves. But underneath it all, the ocean remains still and steady. You are that ocean. The waves of anger, sadness, or frustration may come and go, but they don't define you. And once you recognize this, you start to see that you don't have to be swept away by every emotional wave. Now, let me share a story from the Buddha's teachings that beautifully illustrates this concept. One day, a man came to the Buddha and began insulting him, calling him names and trying to provoke a reaction. The Buddha remained calm and simply asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man replied, "To the one who offered it." The Buddha smiled and said, "Then I do not accept your insults. They remain yours." Isn't that powerful? The Buddha didn't let someone else's negativity penetrate his peace, and you can do the same. The next time someone tries to hand you the gift of anger, criticism, or negativity, remember, you don't have to accept it. Another key aspect of self-sovereignty is setting boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. For instance, if you know that scrolling through social media makes you feel inadequate or stressed, set a boundary. Remind yourself that you have the power to choose where you focus your energy. Similarly, if someone in your life constantly drains you emotionally, it's okay to set limits on how much access they have to your inner world. Let me ask you this. How would your life change if you fully embraced self-sovereignty? Imagine going through your day knowing that no matter what happens, you hold the power. Someone cuts you off in traffic? That's their issue, not yours. A coworker makes a snide remark. You decide whether to let it ruin your day. When you own your emotional realm, you become unshakable. But here's the thing. It's not just about avoiding negativity. Self-sovereignty also allows you to fully experience the positive emotions in your life. When you're not constantly reacting to every little thing, you create space for joy, gratitude, and peace to flow in. So, here's your homework. The next time you feel your emotions start to spiral, pause and say this to yourself. I own my emotional world. I decide how I feel. Say it out loud if you have to. Write it down and stick it on your mirror. Repeat it until it becomes second nature. And watch as your life transforms. Remember, you're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the master of your emotional kingdom. So hold on to that remote and don't let anyone take it from you. This is self-sovereignty, and it's your superpower. All right, let's talk about anger. We all feel it. It's part of being human. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or your coworker takes credit for your idea, or a friend lets you down. That familiar heat rises in your chest, your heart races, and before you know it, you're either exploding or stewing in silence. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Anger isn't inherently bad. It's energy, powerful, fiery, and intense. And while it can be destructive if left unchecked, Buddhism teaches us something revolutionary. You can transform that anger. Think of it like emotional alchemy, turning the heavy lid of anger into the gold of focus, determination, and growth. Let's break it down. When anger hits, it's tempting to act on it immediately. But here's a better approach. Pause. Yes, just pause. Close your eyes if you can, take a deep breath, and acknowledge what's happening. Say to yourself, I feel angry. I feel hurt. Just naming the emotion gives you a sense of control. You're no longer caught in its grip. You're observing it, like watching a storm from the safety of your window. Now, instead of letting that energy consume you, ask yourself, what can I do with this? For example, if you're angry about an unfair situation at work, channel that energy into creating a solution. Use it to motivate yourself to speak up or find a new path. Or, if you're furious about something someone said, let it fuel a deeper commitment to self-improvement or personal growth. Here's a personal story to illustrate this. I once worked on a project where someone blatantly disrespected my contributions. I was livid, but instead of lashing out, I decided to channel that energy into improving my skills. I stayed late, refined my work, and the next time, I delivered something so polished that no one could ignore it. That anger, it became my fuel. Buddhism calls this energy transmutation, and it's not about suppressing or ignoring your feelings. It's about redirecting them. Anger is like fire. It can destroy, or it can provide light and warmth. The choice is yours. Have you ever wished you could turn life's toughest moments into something meaningful? Like, wouldn't it be amazing if all the anger, frustration, or sadness you felt could somehow make you stronger, wiser, or more compassionate? That's the essence of emotional alchemy. Buddhism teaches us that emotions are raw materials. Anger, frustration, jealousy, they're not inherently bad. They're just energy waiting to be shaped. And the good news is, you're the alchemist. Let's use anger as an example. Anger often arises when something we value is threatened. Maybe your sense of fairness, your boundaries, or your self-worth. Instead of letting that anger consume you, ask, what is this anger trying to show me? Maybe it's highlighting a boundary you need to set, or a value you hold dear. Suddenly, the anger isn't just a nuisance, it's a teacher. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine you're hiking, and you come across a big, heavy boulder blocking your path. You could sit there and complain about the obstacle, or you could use it as an opportunity to build strength by climbing over it. That's emotional alchemy. Seeing obstacles not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones. Next time you're frustrated, try this. Pause, reflect, and ask, what can I learn from this? It's not about sugarcoating difficult emotions. It's about transforming them into tools for growth. Over time, you'll find that even your toughest moments hold the seeds of wisdom and resilience. Let's face it, we live in a world that rewards quick reactions. Someone says something rude, and we're expected to clap back. A heated debate unfolds on social media, and we feel pressured to weigh in. But what if I told you that silence, yes, silence, can be your greatest power? Now, don't get me wrong. Silence doesn't mean passivity or weakness. It means choosing not to engage with negativity when it doesn't serve you. It's about protecting your peace and refusing to let external chaos disturb your inner calm. Imagine this. You're in an argument, and the other person is getting louder and angrier. Your instinct might be to raise your voice or defend yourself. But what happens if, instead, you stay calm and silent? That silence can be disarming. It forces the other person to confront their own words and actions without your input fueling the fire. Silence can be like a mirror, reflecting negativity back onto itself. One of my favorite examples of this comes from Buddhist teachings. There's a story about a monk who was criticized harshly by another. Instead of reacting, the monk simply smiled and walked away. When asked why he didn't respond, the monk said, "I didn't want to carry their burden." Isn't that powerful? Practicing silence doesn't mean ignoring issues or suppressing your feelings. It means choosing when and how to engage. Silence creates space for reflection, clarity, and mindfulness. It allows you to respond, not react. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, not every comment needs a reply. Sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all. Let's be real. Life can be overwhelming. Deadlines pile up. Unexpected problems pop out of nowhere. And before you know it, you're in full-on survival mode. But here's the thing. Grace under pressure isn't about avoiding stress. It's about how you respond to it. Buddhism teaches a beautiful concept called equanimity, the ability to stay balanced no matter what's happening around you. Picture yourself as a tree in a storm. The wind may whip through your branches, but your roots remain grounded. That's what grace under pressure feels like. When life gets chaotic, the first step is to pause and breathe. Seriously, just take a deep breath. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly grounding. That moment of pause creates a space where you can choose your response instead of being swept away by the situation. Acceptance is another key ingredient. Let's say you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You could sit there stewing in frustration, or you could remind yourself, I can't control the traffic, but I can control how I respond to it. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the struggle against what you can't change. And let's not forget about resilience. Grace under pressure is like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Every time you choose to stay calm in a tough moment, you're building your capacity to handle stress with ease. So, the next time life throws a curveball, remember, you're the calm in the storm. Pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I've got this. Over time, you'll find that staying unshakable under pressure becomes second nature, and you'll navigate life's challenges with the grace of a true master. Mastering your emotions is not about eliminating them. It's about understanding, transforming, and using them to your advantage. Through emotional detachment, the what-if mindset, self-sovereignty, and other Buddhist practices, you can cultivate resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. As you integrate these teachings into your life, you'll find that you're not just surviving, but thriving. So, take that first step today. Observe your emotions, embrace silence, and remember, you are the master of your emotional realm.